Well, I think the biggest factor in living your best life, especially when it comes to your family and your business, is that you have to, as selfish as this sounds, you have to focus on yourself first. You have to make sure you're right, make sure you're healthy, make sure you're fit, and you work on your goals so that you're fulfilled. If you're not fulfilled, it's very difficult to fulfill those around you.
The Very Best Life podcast, how to go from nothing to everything and live your best life. It's a journey, it's a hustle, it's a passion, it's the best life. And we will be sitting down with awesome people to dig deep and tell the untold stories everyone wants to hear about. Hey, what's up? Welcome again to an episode of Your Very Best Life podcast. I'm here with my very good friend, fellow realtor, Andrew Perrie.
What's up, buddy?
Welcome, bro, to the podcast. I'm so glad you can join me here today.
Me too.
In Kitchener, we're here at my personal home shooting this podcast. And it's good to see you, bro.
Yeah. First time meeting in person.
Props. Yes, absolutely. We've connected online a lot. And I've really appreciated it. I've appreciated your friendship and referrals and just everything. And we're kind of similar.
Absolutely,
just
buddy.
how we rock it in the real estate world.
I agree. I mean, I'm not selling anything $700,000 over ask. But
yeah, I know. That was nuts. That was so nuts. That was cool to make the news, but you've made headlines before and stuff, right?
I have made some headlines. Yeah, that's for sure.
You've made some headlines. I think it's kind of cool to make the headlines because it's almost like street cred, kind of elevates the brand.
I agree. Anytime you have that opportunity to get the press, the PR, it's always good for the elevation of the brand. Yeah,
like people like Josh Flagg, right? They like to get those snapshots where it's they'll share the articles.
He's a pro.
Yeah, he's a pro.
Yeah.
Well, and you met him in Niagara-on-the-Lake, didn't you? Or
I did. He came down to speak with our brokerage for a dinner night.
Yeah.
At Ruth Chris, cool. 2-3 years ago, maybe.
Yeah. And
just before COVID, I think. Actually.
Oh, just before. Just snuck it in. And for people too, if they don't know who that is, what show was he on?
Million Dollar Listing, LA.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, and so I want to kind of one thing I like about this podcast is kind of going back and these untold stories, right? Yeah. So it's let's start from the very beginning, so you're from the Barrie area originally, is it?
Yeah, Churchill, Ontario.
Okay, Churchill, Ontario.
Population 200.
Okay, amazing. Where is that in regards to Barrie?
It's about 15 minutes south on Yonge
15
Street.
Minutes south. Okay, Yonge Street. Nice. There's
literally 2 churches on a hill.
Okay, nice.
Hence the name.
Yeah, that makes sense because I know Ingersoll, what's the name I'm thinking
Innisfil?
of? Innisfil.
Yeah, so Churchill is in Innisfil.
Okay.
So is Alcona, so is Lefroy, so it's kind of like Virgil, St. David's, Queenston are all in Niagara-on-the-Lake.
Okay, that's amazing. Yeah, and I grew up not far from there actually, the Newmarket, Holland Landing area.
Okay, yeah. East Gwillimbury kind of.
Yeah, East Gwillimbury, that's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Nice.
Yeah, but so grew up in Churchill, south of Barrie.
Yeah, not a whole lot of stuff to do except for, snowmobile, go on the boat, all outdoor stuff.
Yeah, fun stuff though. So any siblings?
Yes. So I was almost like an only child to an extent.
Yeah.
My dad and my mom, they divorced when I was 3, I think. Mm-hmm. But and then I stayed with my mom, and then my dad had my sister Madison. Mm-hmm. She is, I think, 7 years younger than me, or 10, in and around there. And then my brother Cameron, and then my brother Nathan, who's from my mom and my stepdad, and I am 14 years older than him.
Okay.
So in my household, I was basically an only child until I was 14.
Yeah.
And then my other brother, Kalen, I think he's 25 years younger than me. So my dad's got his hands full at his age.
Yeah, no doubt. That's amazing though. And are they all kind of in the Barrie area too right now?
Or? They're in Orangeville. All the Perries are in Orangeville. Yeah. My brother and his girlfriend Miranda actually moved up to North Bay to do some continuing education.
Oh yeah.
And then Nathan, actually, my brother Nathan, wow, he's going to school to be an architect. Well, actually, he graduated.
Okay.
And now he's at a firm in Vaughan, I think. So he's just moving
sweet.
out to Toronto now.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, proud of him.
Yeah. Where did he do the architecture school?
Georgian College.
Okay, Georgian. Yeah, there's one, and there's a UW School of Architecture too. But that's so cool. So, what did you first want to do, like, you know, as a career? you know, like, can you remember even back to, like, you know, like, what was your first thing?
Yeah, of course. It was like either an actor,
Yeah.
something in the music industry,
Yeah. Yeah.
or a teacher.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I went to Nipissing University for half a semester to become a teacher,
Okay.
and then I left there to pursue music.
Right.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
music was a big part of my life for a long time. I was in a band called Flatline Endings, Reasonable Doubt. We traveled all around Ontario on tour, and then I broke out and went on my solo career.
Yeah.
So I was kind of living my dream for a while there, until I realized that music industry is tough.
Yeah.
It's tough, and you know, we were doing really well. I was working on something with Carl Wolf. We were, playing shows downtown Dundas Square.
Yeah.
Like, it was really fun.
Yeah.
But it wasn't paying the bills.
Right.
And I just felt like by mid-20s, I should be, focusing on trying to make some money.
Right.
And then so here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. And so what just to jump back a little bit, what
Yep.
year were you up at Nipissing there?
2006.
2006. Okay. Yeah, I was there like just after that, I think.
Oh yeah.
Cause I went to university there, but I did actually Niagara College, 2 years of police foundations, and then I went to Nipissing.
Interesting.
So that was
Interesting.
like just after you left,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
we grew up in the same area, so it's another kind of funny coincidence.
And my wife, Gabe, she went to Nipissing University like
Okay.
2 years after me.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good university, right?
Yeah, it's great. It's cool. Like, it's, in the middle of the Canadian Shield.
Yeah.
Like, it's really cool.
100%. And so you're 25 when you're like, okay, I'm piecing out on the music career.
Yeah.
And like, I gotta say, like, I've heard some of your stuff. Like, you're very talented.
Thanks. I
You're
appreciate
talented,
it.
man. Like, I
It's
guess
so
you have many
funny.
talents. You have many talents.
Well, thanks. Yeah. I mean, I'm mediocre at most things. It's kind of what I say.
Well, you know what? I think sometimes we're the hardest on ourselves,
I agree.
especially as a high achiever.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Like,
yeah.
like even Elon Musk himself. Like, he's probably you know what? He fails a lot more than most people.
Well, it's because he's doing things.
It's 'cause
he's
doing
trying things.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that's one of the secrets of success to living your best life. You gotta have the courage. You gotta take chances.
Yeah. But what did Elon Musk call his?
Yeah.
It wasn't a crash. It was unpredicted. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
it was
they
like-
called it like an in-air dismantle or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was an in-air dismantle. It wasn't a crash, like something
hilarious.
like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess
The power of
maybe
thought.
even mindset around it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
see?
Mindset. I thought you were gonna say, what did he name his kid?
No.
You know, because that's
I forget what that is.
because that's a little bit tricky.
Yeah. If that's tough. It's
Yeah, I
like
think-
some formula.
I
Isn't
think
it?
he told Joe Rogan, but still no one knew what he was
No.
what he was saying.
Yeah.
But so you're about 25 when you decide. Like, how did you decide real estate?
Man. Well, to be honest, the Ferris guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
No way,
Ferris
yeah.
guys. So Thomas Ferris was a good friend of mine growing up.
Okay.
And I was doing my LA fitness thing, selling
Yeah.
memberships. I thought to myself,
Yeah.
like, there's got to be a better way.
Yeah.
There's got to be something that I can put in the same amount of work but make more.
Yeah. Oh,
And
for sure.
I called up Thomas Ferris. I saw that he was doing very well,
Yeah.
and I asked him what he thought about it for a career choice for myself, and he's
Mm-hmm.
like, "Dude, you'd be amazing at it."
Yeah.
And he was right.
Yeah. Yeah. They do a good business.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I-
Now they're out in Florida too.
Yeah, they're in Florida too.
Yeah.
That's cool. I just think in my mind, like, they want to take holidays in Florida. I was like, oh, why don't we sell some homes here too?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not?
Yeah, it's
I
kind
know
of a
so
good
many
opportunity.
Canadians that do that.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, but yeah, those guys. That's cool that you got connected with them from the start. So it was kind of like, okay, you want like a job to make money, pay the bills, and they said, yeah, you'd be a good fit.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, basically. And so then, and were you living in like the Barrie area at the time?
So I was actually out in Edmonton.
Oh, out in Edmonton.
Yeah, so that's where our first son Hudson was born.
Okay.
So I climbed the ranks, I guess you could say, pretty quickly at LA Fitness. So I went from sales to general manager, and then I got my own club in Niagara Falls. So that's why I went to Niagara Falls.
Oh, okay.
And then there was an opportunity to help the VP out in Alberta.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea was that I would eventually run the Calgary district.
Right.
And my buddy Scott, who was the VP, was running the Edmonton district. But when we got there was no signs of ever opening the Calgary market. In fact, I'm not even too sure if they even ended up doing it at all.
Right. One of those
So
things,
yeah, exactly. So I just had to, take a look at what I was doing, and I started the courses while living there. But as soon as I made the decision, it was wheels were in motion. We were back home within a couple of months.
Yeah. And before I ask this next question, but the first LA Fitness, wasn't it open in Kitchener?
That was the first one. Yeah.
So that's kind of a crazy thing too, but that's kind of cool. But so you were in Niagara Falls at the time when you decided to?
Edmonton.
Okay, Edmonton.
Yeah.
So after Edmonton, you went to Niagara Falls, or?
I went to Niagara Falls first.
Oh, okay.
Then I flew out to Edmonton to take the bigger role.
Yeah.
And then 2 months after my kid was born, I was like, yeah, we got to pack up and go.
Yeah.
Go back home. Took all the classes at home, and just hung out with the kid while he was doing his thing. Learning how to crawl and walk. So I got to be there for all of that while I was building my brand behind the scenes, building the systems behind the scenes. So I didn't take I maximized the time.
Yeah,
I didn't go back to work. I just lived off my savings.
Yeah.
But I focused on my son, building my craft, honing it, educating myself, and then working on all the technology, all the back end crap.
Well, and I would say too, one thing I'm seeing is your ability to hustle and climb the ranks quickly, and I would say too, in taking that time, that is incredibly smart. Because a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I'm still working part-time. I'm just dabbling in real estate. I hope it takes off, but they don't invest the time.
That's right.
If you don't invest the time, how's it going to happen? So you really took that time. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, business is really simple, especially sales for me, the systems, the organization of it all, maybe not. But if you give me a goal, I just start working towards it. I know that sounds so simple, but at LA Fitness, it was like, you need to make 120 calls a day. You need to have, I think it was 20 appointments was the goal. No, it was 20 new leads a day.
Okay.
And at least 5 to 10 appointments a day.
Right.
So I take that mentality and I say, look, I need to make, usually everybody's goal in their first year is 100K, right? So take 100K, divide it by the sales price, find out your average sale price and then divide it by the commission. Then you can find out how many deals you actually need to do.
Right.
So then I start breaking that down and I just work at it, and magic. It, you start hitting your goals and you start adding higher ones. Yeah. But no, I really just did the same thought process with trying to learn more about the business before I got started.
Yeah.
So every single YouTube video, I was, traveling around talking with business owners because I was very interested in the business aspect of it as well as the real estate aspect of it, where that's why everybody thought I was nuts when, I was sitting across from the broker at the brokerage, and this guy's brand new and hasn't even got his license yet, and he's like, and I just told him, I said, look, I want to have my own brokerage eventually. I want to sell here. And they're like, how are you gonna open your own brokerage? I'm like, how did you open your own brokerage?
Yeah.
And then it was like, you can't just come into Niagara-on-the-Lake and sell. Like, this is it's the same few people that have been selling here forever. You can't just go into luxury and sell luxury. And my first listing was $3 million. So
it's a good start.
If you just, like I said, if you just break down your goals and then you can break down the steps that it takes to achieve them, and you just don't stop until you start achieving them.
Boom. Mic drop.
Yeah.
So you moved from Edmonton. When you say back home, was it Niagara?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm just trying to.
I know.
I'm just tracing the journey to Niagara, right? Because like I find it interesting sometimes, like how people end up where they end up, right? And maybe that's part of living your best life too, right? Like especially Niagara-on-the-Lake, it's one of the most kind of iconic locations in Ontario.
Yeah.
Like when you think about a nice place that's just kind of fancy and relaxed.
And it's perfect for the kids.
Yeah.
It's like such a
Family
community lifestyle
Yeah.
down there. And it's the same thing. I had a goal, and it was to live in Niagara-on-the-Lake, and I just broke it down, found a house, and
Epic.
here we are.
Yeah. And also too, and you're like a co-brokerage owner at Niagara-on-the-Lake?
Yeah, so we don't have our franchise agreements yet. So technically, we're not owners.
Oh, okay.
They call us head coaches.
Oh, okay.
But as soon as the franchise agreements are finished, we will buy it.
Okay.
Officially.
Yeah. And then what about Revel? And Revel, just if anyone's watching, that's Andrew's brokerage.
Yes. Sorry.
And so tell me about Revel Muskoka, because you have some ties there too.
Yeah, so I run the Niagara-on-the-Lake office.
Yeah.
And the Muskoka office.
Yeah.
And, it's just, I've always, spent time at our cottage, so I love the Muskokas are just unreal, and wakeboarding, fishing, camping, hunting, like all of it I love, right? So I knew that I had to, get back to my roots because, I was working so much. And my first 2 years were insane. Like every Saturday, Sunday, open house, working days and nights, saying yes to absolutely everything. And, when the opportunity came up for Muskoka, I had to jump on it because I knew that eventually, okay, if I could at least get there, then I could get a cottage, and then I could stay there for a few weeks out of the year and still work.
Yeah. So this kind of ties into that a little bit, but like, how do you balance it all? And especially too, like getting into it, it's like you have to hustle so hard because if you stop swimming, you feel like you're going to drown, right? You got to keep at it. Nothing's promised. So how do you balance it all?
So it's actually a very simple concept. It's the fact that you have to do that in your 2 years. So for your first 2 years, so forget work-life balance. Just forget about it because pay your dues, and then by your third year, get yourself an assistant, get yourself established. But how do I balance it all now? It's super simple. I have a director of operations, I have a VP of sales, I have an assistant, and then we have our team of agents. Right. So you just have to let go of a lot of the processes and kind of let the people who are better at that job take it over so that you don't have to stress about it.
Yeah. So a lot of leverage.
Yeah. Yeah. Because a lot of the work-life balance it's more stress because we all have the same hours.
Yeah.
And I think if you just spend a little less time stressing over it and finding a solution, then you can start living your best life.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. And you can come hang out with me here in Kitchener.
Yeah, see? Exactly.
Chat about living your best life.
Exactly. Exactly. I'm usually home by 4, and I don't work weekends. Now, obviously, certain clients need some special attention. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm still answering the phone, still talking to clients, still talking to our team.
Yeah.
But for the most part, as soon as the lights go off at the brokerage office, I go back home.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing. And that takes discipline.
Yeah. But then you get used to it. And then you're like, I don't want to go for a showing at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
Who wants it?
Yeah, fair. Well, and just for the sake of discussion too, so how long have you been in real estate now?
This is my 6th year.
6th year.
2017.
Yeah. So that's epic, right? Like, I think a lot of people look up to you too because you've really, like, you came out of the gate swinging, you know, like, just like, wow. Like, where did this dude come from? He's doing so well. Like, you do a lot of video too, which I think a lot of people and agents admire, right?
Yeah.
Like, and
absolutely.
I know sometimes you say there's 2 ways to do it, and you did kind of like make those investments, right?
Yes.
It was smart. It's paying off.
But it's funny because all that research that I was doing, before I actually got my license, like that I was telling you about, I actually research the best camera.
Right.
And I got my camera, and oh my God, it was terrible. leave that stuff to the pros, you know.
Right, yeah.
Leave online leads to Otto from Agent Locator.
Yeah.
You know, don't try to work your own Facebook ads. I mean, some people have success at it, but just like I said, it's success and your best life. What it means to me is that you get to live your life on your terms, and as less stress as possible. Stress is good. It means that you care.
Yeah.
It means that things are happening. But, you know, when it's... Have you ever read the book, Don't Sweat the Small Stuff?
Yeah. And then they say, and it's all small stuff? Is that what they say in it? Like on the cover?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. Now you're calling me out. I don't know. I forget it was so long ago. But the whole premise is super, super simple.
Yeah.
Is that... And you know what? Maybe it actually does say that because Chris Knighton told me. Chris Knighton... I still remember this.
Yeah.
When was it? It was like my first or second year, and I had breakfast with him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how do you do this? You know, how do you spend time with your kids? He said, hey, Andrew, I don't answer my phone after 7 o'clock. I'm like, okay, awesome. Why? Like, what do you mean? What if there's an emergency? What if something happens and he needs your attention? He said, Andrew, there's no such thing as an emergency in real estate. He said it more eloquently than I did.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's kind of like what you said. All things are small. So there you go.
Yeah. All things. Don't sweat the small stuff. Man, it's the little things that matter. And, you know, it's funny, right? Like, there's all these like funny little phrases, right? Where it's like,
it's easy for people to get confused.
Yeah. Though I think you know, there's the essence of the message, I guess, right?
Yes,
there's
exactly.
the essence of the message.
That's right.
But like sometimes, like I know for myself, like sometimes there's like I don't know, like maybe like what do you think about this? Like it's 8 o'clock and an agent, sometimes from Toronto, because we have a different like listing system.
Yeah.
They're at the lockbox, like, Brian, I can't get in. Like you look at your phone, like you got like 5 text messages, and they're freaking out. Like, you know,
that's a little bit of a different story.
Yeah,
but I mean, I have an assistant that covers that.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what she's paid to do.
Yeah, I think that's some smart leverage.
Yeah. And anything after hours, we pay like $50 an hour. So it's like, you know, if they want to work overtime, they can.
Yeah, and they can. Yeah. And so one thing I want to ask you about too is, you know, so like Revel Realty.
Yeah.
You know, there's lots of brokerages out there, right?
Yes.
Like I know Revel is I think they're offering something cool, something special. Like whenever they do an event, like and I see it like online,
Yes.
I'm like, wow. Like, wow. That
We
then
go
that's the
big.
kind of the response you want, right? It's wow, but
Yeah.
go big and go home. But so why Revel Realty? There's lots of brokerages. Why that one?
It's very simple. And I know unless you experience culture and to its like fullest and most fulfilling abilities, I guess you could say, you don't really, you could kind of roll your eyes to the word culture. But that's exactly the reason. We're a traditional brokerage model, similar to RE/MAX, similar to KW. But what we do and how we, you know, how we have grown so quickly, how, you know, what we can attribute our success to is that we believe in rising tides floats all boats. Right. So all the first years in real estate, they all get paired with a mentor. They all get, you know, over 30 live classes that go on throughout the year. It's mandatory for them to complete it. So the average Revel realtor will sell 8 homes a year. The average Ontario realtor would only sell 3. So we also had 4 rookies of the year from the Niagara board. So it just goes back to, we believe we're almost like one big team.
Yeah.
So we have education, charity, community. We don't have awards, but we still provide recognition, of course. But it's one of those things where you just become this family where even from the top down, you could still, you know, book a meeting with Ryan, book a meeting with Nikki. And it's those little things that, you know, keep that family feel while still providing a corporate entity with all the systems it supports. Right. And then culture, you feel right at home.
What more would you want?
Exactly. That's right.
Yeah.
Lots of parties. We have a lot of fun.
Yeah, you guys do. And I think one's like a charity type event too, isn't
Yeah,
it?
charity ball. So we don't do awards, right? As I mentioned. So at
Mm-hmm.
the same time, or around most of the brokerages are doing their awards, we do a big black tie affair.
Okay.
But it's all to charity.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I have some reasons why you might do this, but what's the reasons for, say, no awards? Is there a reason that you know of?
Well, for one, it's mainly it's like, okay, when they first started, they had like 4 or 5 people in the office.
Right.
So you're gonna call yourself top 5, and there's only 5 people in the office.
Yeah.
So it's just, we found that awards are a little misleading to an extent, but the main reason was because we felt that, realtors, we wouldn't be anywhere without our community. We wouldn't be in business, we wouldn't have the success we have if we didn't have a strong community to support us. So that's why we want to give back and do those charity balls, and just try to remove the whole, I don't want to say remove the whole ego thing, because I don't want to throw the industry under the bus. Like, I think awards are great, but just for us, we felt that it was better to support the community and just find other ways to motivate our realtors, and I think we're doing a pretty darn good job at it.
Yeah, and I think that's pretty holistic, because I think if we're honest, like, sometimes the awards can be like a little bit toxic. Like I don't know, like,
I agree.
Like, things have to be holistic. Like, yeah, you can be the number 1 agent in the world, but like, what about your family? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be the number 1 agent in the worst dad in the world. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I hear you. And that's why, we always have our Friday frenzies. It's the last Friday of every month. So you bring your family, bring the kids. Most of them are kid friendly. So it's a good way to, meet each other's families, get the kids involved, meet new friends.
Yeah. Oh, and one thing I want to touch base on too, just to jump back a little bit too, is because talking about leverage, right? Because like, I know a lot of people out there and listening too, they're like, leverage is great and all this stuff. But I think sometimes stress can come from, if it's like, okay, I want to have this leverage, but then it's like, oh my goodness, the expenses, right? It's like, so I know sometimes leverage is great, but then like, how do you, in your opinion, how do you balance that? Where there's leverage, but there could be stress of like paying these bills.
Yeah.
Like people always get scared. Like, oh no, the sales are going down. You know what I mean? Like,
well, the one thing is that the way I look at my staff, just for lack of a better word, is that that's not an expense. It's an investment.
Yeah.
So the investment that I'm providing for the ladies there, Andrea, Gracie, and Crystal, is the fact that, we're creating not only a growth atmosphere and culture for our team by providing their agent support, their deal support, but also, community involvement and all that other stuff, because we believe that if we give the agents the tools, they will use them.
Yeah.
Where in this market, it's so, you got super agents, you got super teams, it's very, very hard to compete. And I remember when I first started, and it's like, okay, you need this, you need this, you need this. I'm like, oh my God, I just started and I got to spend thousands of dollars on a website, agent locator, or CRMs, right? Yeah. So we provide at the brokerage level and the team level, we provide all of that for you. Right? Because if people are afraid to, hire a professional videographer because they feel it's too expensive, they need to do that. So what we did is we hired on a full-time videographer at the brokerage, and then, he gets a salary, and we discount the actual total amount of money that you would pay for drone, hand edited photos, all that kind of stuff, because we want to encourage them to use it. So again, that's an investment, where now expenses, they pile up. When you're spending $30,000 to $60,000 a month, it gets a little crazy, especially when nobody's closing deals, right? Or the market slows down. But what we've learned over these last few years is that the best thing to do in terms of dealing with expenses and when the market is in a downturn, what do? I threw money at online leads. It didn't work because we got thousands of leads, but nobody was buying. So what was the use of that, right? So what we learned is that we have to be belly to belly, have events, and you can do events for free. Have them at a restaurant. Say, look, what's your least busiest day? We'll come there. I'll bring you 50, 70 people, and just give us some space at the back or something like that. And they provide it to us. There you go. It's free. You don't have to bring anything.
So like free for free for, you mean like the people that go, or like free? Like,
well, it's like you're getting the venue for free.
Oh, the venue for free,
right? You're just going to a restaurant.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying.
And so because a lot of people get stressed out, because we don't do that a lot. We do usually pay an extravagant amount for our events, but yeah. I guess.
So like what kind of event would that be?
There's one event that we haven't actually set up yet, but I'll let you in on it. A good friend of mine, Shelby, started it in the Carolinas. It's called Pints and Properties. So basically, you can invite other realtors, because it could be a recruiting thing, get to know people, networking, or they invite investors. So the whole idea is that Pints and Properties is a networking event for investors, where it's just more of a laid back, have a beer, talk, meet new people, and you can bring in speakers or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Bring in local designers, local architects, people from the town.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Good connecting event.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so the first property you sold was $3 million?
Well, no.
Oh, because you said there's a $3 million deal or something.
Yeah, that took almost 2 years.
Oh, okay.
That took almost 2 years.
Where I'm going with this too is like, what are some of your like biggest successes in real estate? Like, is there some things where you can look at where it's like, oh my goodness, one time I beat out 50 other offers and multiple offers, or like, is there anything that comes to mind like that?
Yes. So I've got a really good story. So, I had gotten a random phone call from, which is now my client, Elizabeth, and she was calling from Collingwood.
Yep.
And she wanted to, see some bungalows in town in Niagara-on-the-Lake, and she gave me a very specific criteria. And so I was sending them to her, and she's like, no. Year and a half goes by, and I'm still sending like the odd message here and there, right? Keeping in touch. But then there was a little while there where I just kind of, I wouldn't say moved on. It's just, I had other things to focus on. And she calls me and she's like, Andrew, I want to see these two properties. I definitely did not forget about her, but I was like, wow, I thought that was just not going to happen. Because I never even met her over the course until I actually showed her that first house over the course of the first 2 years. So anyways, we find her a house, her and her husband, and basically it was a tricky situation. The market was going right down for luxury, especially in Collingwood. So we had to list their house and sell it before the SOP because the listing agent, did not want any extensions. She actually wanted the house back, which is another story. She asked, she sent an amendment saying, okay, we'll give you the extension, but we want $15,000. So we said no. We said, just give us 2 more weeks. Just give us a 2-week extension. On the final day, like there was nothing. No showings, no interest on their house in Collingwood. And sure enough, literally the final hour, I'm talking 8 o'clock, 8:59, conditions were due at 9, firm offer. We had to negotiate it pretty hard. We worked with a great Kelleher, Chris Kelleher up there in Thornbury, and his team did an amazing job. And but I had Chris is like, you've got to talk to your client too, because we're not really getting too far. So it was like we had to piece this together within 20 minutes. But what, like in a slow market for $2 million, and in comes a firm offer. Yeah. So I think that's one of my favorite stories that we've had. We've had tons of crazy stories. I've talked about them on my YouTube channel, but I think that's my favorite real estate story. It was honestly a miracle how it all came together.
Just the hustle to get it done, and like they just came from, they saw it on realtor.ca or something.
They walked through the night before. No feedback, so we just assumed, okay, another one who thought it was overpriced, or another one who thought that, they didn't like the gardens or whatever. And then sure enough, offer comes in. It came in at 1.5 on a $2.3 million listing. So we got them up to 2. Firm,
they
2.
Came,
I don't know
nice
how we did
low. Hey, but it's good to get them up nice and high.
Well, this is like in December, right? Where it was the deadest market ever.
Christmas time. And what year was it?
This year.
Oh, this year?
Yeah,
it was slow the end of this year,
Yeah, the last 12 months where we were just basically dead. March is when the market just took a dive.
Well, and then like even this year, like January, February, it was slow. At least from here, I don't know. But
we had a slow 2 weeks of January. Fast end of the month, fast February. March was dead. And then April's been really busy again.
April's been busy. It's good. Like interest rates are kind of like at least staying the same. It's a little bit less scary for people.
People know what they're going to get, right? So I think that's why buyers are coming back out again.
It's not as scary.
That's right.
It's good.
Yeah.
People don't want to be scared.
No.
So what are some of your challenges or struggles, like, whether it's personal or business, like that you're just kind of like, trying to overcome right now?
Well,
or, whatever it might be.
The thing for me is there's ceilings, and you have to figure out how to break through the ceilings. The first deal, the first 50 deals, the first 100 deals, first 200 deals. 50 million, 100 million, 200 million, and it's like you always feel the same way. You're stuck, and you're like, how are we gonna get out of this? And that's kind of where we're at now, where we're so far battling. We're not necessarily winning, but it's we have these goals, we're falling short. And it's like and they're based off our new ceiling that we set for ourselves. And it's challenging, but it's fun because it's I can't describe the feeling. It's very anxious and stressful, but that you're going to be learning something. That there's that golden nugget in there somewhere, that that one tool that's going to help you break through the ceiling. So the challenge is more specific, is just when you feel like you're hitting that wall, hitting that ceiling, it's important to put your ego aside and start reaching out to people. And I think you can say the same thing in your personal life too. As like when you're running into those challenges, regardless of what they might be, is just connect with people. Getting it off your chest, whether it be business or personal, I think is super, super important. Talk about it.
I think it's a big strength too, like, kind of like putting up your hand when you need help.
Yeah.
And it's kind of important. Putting your ego aside to be like, hey, you know what? Like, I need some help. Whatever it might be.
Exactly. Because I feel these, little voices in my head that say, Andrew, if you reach out to that person, they're going to know that you're really not that good. They're going to know that you don't know how to do this.
It's those
they're going to think you're a phony.
Has,
But honestly, what I learned a long time ago now is that you've really got to put those voices to check and just, like I said, squash the ego and go talk to somebody.
And so I'm just curious, what's the motivation to say, take it to this next level? Like, is there, like a big why, or like, what's the you know, because sometimes it's like, hey, you know what, it's pretty good here. Maybe I'm living my best life here, but like, but sometimes people do want to take it to this level.
Yeah.
And so what's kind of the motivation or reasoning or whatever it might be?
Well, it's just because I simply want to be able to live my life on my terms, on my schedule.
Yep.
You know, I love the hustle and creating these businesses and these sales, but I would much rather be on a beach or a yacht or something, I don't know, in the sun every single
enough.
day than, having to, I mean, I can't say that because I love working on myself. I love working on my goals. It's a fun thing, but I think the ultimate why is just to eventually be able to do whatever we want on any given day, you know, live your life on your terms.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it takes work to get there.
It does.
Yeah. One thing I find interesting too is like, it's some of these like celebrities, like they have, quote unquote, like all the money in the world, but they still are working. It's like, I think for a lot of people too, it's like kind of that fulfillment.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, maybe it's not always about money, but yeah, like if it's on your terms, it's like, okay, you're not like a slave. You can do what you want. Though sometimes money does play a factor or influence people
but I think it comes down to, what I call the burning desire to sell. So watching something, a deal come together and go through, close, everybody's happy. And then that paycheck comes in, rewarding you from all that hard work. I think that's just, I just love I love that feeling.
Yeah.
Getting that offer accepted, waiving the conditions. It's all just very thrilling.
It is. It really is. And I know real estate's very fulfilling because, like, in a lot of jobs, like, they don't get all this, like, maybe praise or congratulations. Like, it's just like, okay, I did my job today and I didn't, like, no one gave me too bad of a hard time,
but just went home.
What I said to someone
unplugged.
exactly. What I said to someone the other day too was like, with real estate, it is always a hustle, but you're never promised those big wins. But it is always going to be a little bit of a, that get up and go. It's not going to happen unless you get up and make it happen.
Of course. I don't know if I would like that, just having everything laid out. 9 to 5. No. Salary. You know what I mean? It just seems boring.
Yeah. For some people it works.
Absolutely.
I think kind of like before real estate, I worked at Manulife, just 9 to 5, and like after work, it's like it's almost hard to remember now, but I never thought about work.
No.
On the weekend, but though to be honest too, like one critique is like everyone was kind of working for the weekend. It's like Monday, and it's like, oh, is it Friday yet? Which is kind of what can be depressing.
It is depressing. You should be living like that every day.
Though at least sometimes people have their evenings, but something different for everyone. Right.
My favorite days is Monday. Money making Mondays.
True.
Yeah.
Let's get at it.
Forget the weekend.
So like if you could do anything right now, like, like would you be like, you know what, like I wish I could have been that rock star. I wish I could have been like, like my own version of these other Canadian icons like Justin Bieber or Avril Lavigne or Shania Twain.
Well, I think so too. That, man, it's just, I can't even watch like music documentaries or like biops because it's like you get a taste of what it was almost like. And like, I love watching Stars Born. That was a great one. It's just one of those things where it would have been cool. You know what I mean? And I think that there was a lot of opportunity there based on what's happening in the music industry now to really show off some good skill. But hey, you can't live in the past.
Yeah. Well, you're rocking and rolling in the real estate world.
Exactly. I have different goals now. I mean, I want to get our own TV show. We're working on that. Want to be able to travel the world and speak.
One just random funny story is like Shania Twain, she lived in Switzerland for quite some time, and they named a train after her. They called it Shania Train. But then this hour has 22 minutes. They made a funny joke and they said that don't express me much, you know, like that don't impress me much. But yeah, some of those big people, like Avril Lavigne got her start because Shania Twain like called her up on stage or something.
Really?
Like sometimes there's like those moments.
Yes.
Those moments, right? Like Justin Bieber was on YouTube and then Usher sees him or something.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know, like there's those moments where, and I think even like businesses like that too, where it's like I'm sure you've had those moments where it's like, oh my goodness, like things came together in this kind of like magical way. Mm-hmm. And you talked about like, you know, like the sun and enjoying life. Like if you could go anywhere right now, like on holidays, where would it be?
So I have a place in Costa Rica.
Yes.
So that's fun. But we're also looking in Florida too.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be going there in June.
You want to call up the Ferris team there?
Yeah, maybe. Absolutely.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
I'm going to have to sit with them and pick their brain on something
Yes.
because I'd like to open a company there too.
Yeah. Rival Realty?
Yeah. Live there for 6 months of the year. See ya.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I don't know if I could. I hate being away from home too long.
Yeah.
My max is like a week. That's it.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, it's always interesting with kids and, you know, family, like,
Yeah.
you know, like having a home base.
Yeah. Well, Gabe was a teacher too. So like if we
Yeah.
go away for an extended period of time, she could just teach the kids.
That'd be sweet. That'd be sweet.
So they don't fall short on their studies.
Stay in school, kids.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have any like aspirations for your kids? Like, you know what I mean? Where it's like, you know what? It'd be cool if they were
Hockey players.
hockey players. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maple Leafs or?
Yeah. Yeah. So Hudson, like he just doesn't really like it that much.
No.
No, he doesn't. But Cade and Jagger, they love it.
Yeah.
They go crazy.
Yeah.
I'm still making him play though until he's like high school. See how he likes it.
Yeah. Did you play hockey as a kid?
Yep.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
I always loved, you know, traveling with the team and, you know, staying in hotels, pizza parties, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Mini sticks in the hallway.
Mini sticks, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I scraped my knuckles a lot in recess, you know, and
Oh,
playing
yeah.
mini sticks on the concrete.
Yeah, those are the days, man.
Yeah.
No cares.
No cares. So are you a Leafs fan or?
Yes.
Yeah, Leafs fan, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're
First
doing
time
good.
in 19 years, made it past the first round.
Yeah, it's exciting.
It is. Can't wait for that. I thank God they're not playing the Bruins because they've had a very
Yeah.
tough time playing the Bruins in
Yeah.
playoff hockey. Yeah.
Right? So that'll be interesting. We'll see
Yeah.
what happens.
They're playing Florida, so.
Yeah. I just read that they're banning like non American residents from the games.
Really?
Yeah. That's what I read.
Wow.
Because Leafs fans would fly
Oh,
down.
no. They get the first.
They get first pick?
Right. Yes.
Oh, okay. So if there's like empty seats, then
No, I think there's a certain amount that they've allocated for
Oh, okay.
Canadians. Yeah.
oh, okay. They don't want too much support,
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
but throw them off. Is there anything else that you wanted to touch on living your best life? You know, family, business, anything before we wrap up for today?
Well, I think the biggest factor in living your best life, especially when it comes to your family and your business, is that you have to, as selfish as this sounds, you have to focus on yourself first. You have to make sure you're right, make sure you're healthy, make sure you're fit, and you know, you work on your goals so that you're fulfilled. If you're not fulfilled, it's very difficult to fulfill those around you.
Yeah.
It really is. You have to you know, think about it as a red dye in a bucket, you know, and the red dye is representing your negative energy. And if, you know, you're not fulfilled or you're allowing that negative energy to spew out into your family life or your business life, it's impossible to move forward.
So is there some like times of the day that you kind of make sure to say carve out for yourself, or what's
Yes.
what's your habits around that?
4:30 to 7 is for me. Usually the kids are getting up earlier and earlier and earlier now. So sometimes they're up
yeah.
at 6, sometimes they're up at 7,
Yeah.
sometimes 5:30.
Yeah.
So I try to squeeze all of that in before I get to hang out with them before school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. That's good.
Yeah. And then throughout the day is micro, you know, micro self-improvements. And I like to take micro vacations too and just sit in the car for a couple of minutes and be like,
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
before you pull in. You need to decompress when you come home from work.
Yeah.
Before you're running into the door with all the kids.
Yeah.
I love it though. Nothing beats going home and having them come in and hug you.
I know, that's so good. And well, like when I think about like, 'cause sometimes too, it is difficult with like cell phones, right? Cause it's like, it's not like, it's not like you sometimes you can't leave it behind. Like I know like Chris Knighton, okay, like 7:00, it's the discipline.
Yeah. I can't do it. I'm always doing something.
Yeah.
Because the phone to me is a tool.
Yeah.
Right. So it's hard. It's like every engagement, every conversation, every video is another opportunity to create a relationship with somebody. So that's what I love.
Yeah. And I'm just thinking out loud now too, but like what's kind of been like the greatest tool for your business and propelling it forward? Like I'm thinking like Instagram, or what's been kind of like, has there been kind of one thing where it's like, oh my goodness? I'd
say Instagram for sure, out of all the other social media platforms that we just,
That's why all these weird hackers try to copy your page.
Oh my God, I know. And one even started the Andrew Perrie fan page.
Oh, fan page. Was that you? No, I'm joking.
No, they blocked me, so I couldn't even see it.
Oh my goodness. That's like creepy.
It was, really creepy.
Yeah, it is creepy. Yeah, but yeah, you do so well with it. You do so well with it.
And I do it all myself too.
Nice.
So I'm responding to emails and comments.
Yeah.
Super, super quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do that intentionally so that, you only get so much time in people's timelines. And the first, 5 to 10 minutes of your post is the most crucial.
Yeah, 100%. That's good to know. Well, and you're on TikTok too.
Yeah, I stopped.
You're gonna stop a little bit.
I stopped focusing on TikTok.
Yeah.
And just left it for uploads.
Yeah. When you're focusing more on YouTube right now, is that right?
Yeah, trying to grow the YouTube channel. We've gained like 50 new subscribers in like 3 weeks from just switching things up a little bit.
That's sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's very cool.
Like it's not like if it was 50 followers on Instagram, it wouldn't be that cool. But 50 subscribes on YouTube, like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of hard.
Slowly but surely.
It's kind of hard getting subscribers on YouTube.
It's very hard. It's crazy.
Especially like, I don't know, in real estate, I have one thing I find with like real estate. It's like sometimes people want like those crazy homes, right?
Yeah.
Like, not like, oh yeah, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom detached. It's not like, oh, this is going viral. Like
I know.
Yeah.
And it's cool to get creative with those types of videos too. But at the end of the day, like it's the seller's house you're representing. I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah. Okay, well, good stuff, brother. Really appreciate your time today.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a really good, holistic chat about living your best life, and like you are rocking it, throughout your journey, no matter what you've done. And I know big things are to come.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Not too bad on 1.5 hours sleep.
I know, right?
Kids.
The kids.
Punching, kicking.
Yeah.
All in the head.
But what they always say is like, it doesn't last forever.
They're only that little for so long.
Yeah. All right. Props, bro.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Andrew, thanks again.
You're welcome, buddy.
We'll chat soon, brother.
All right.
Bye, everyone.